Hey everybody, it's Angela and I am back to do another layout for Saw Crafters. And for this layout I'm going to use the Chamel Starshine collection, and I'm just pulling out some of her star and constellation papers because I want to use a photograph of the solar eclipse that happened here last week. And portions of Oregon were able to view it as a total eclipse, but my husband and I, we weren't in the totality zone, so we just saw a partial eclipse. It was like 95%, so it was pretty good. And in Chamel's cut apart sheet, she has a lunar eclipse piece of artwork in there that I thought was really cool, so I wanted to try to include that. Even though it's not a solar eclipse, I wanted to include that on my layout because it helps tell the story of what was going on. And there is my photo, and there are the glasses, the eclipse glasses that my husband and I were wearing in that photograph. And design-wise, this layout's pretty simple. There's nothing earth-shattering in the design. What is kind of cool on this one, though, is that I am able to use some ephemera, and I put these glasses on here, so I'm able to preserve the glasses. And then I was also able to use 8 photographs on this, and how I'm doing that is you can see that I did some work in Photoshop before I printed that photo out, and I did a strip of the different phases of the eclipse that I took, and I took them using a regular camera looking through a piece of glass that was off of a welding helmet. And so those are what's the strip below, and then for the upper portion of my photograph, I have a picture that I took on my cell phone that had a really cool lens flare to it. You can see the sun in the center, and then in the flare on kind of above and below the sun, you can also see the partial eclipse. And then the picture of my husband and I is kind of overlaid into that photograph. So by doing that, what I was trying to do was, first of all, portray the motion of what was going on of the eclipse, and then also each photograph individually wasn't anything stunning. It was a selfie of my husband and I, or it was just a little partial portion of the sun, but all together as a whole they tell a story, and they, I think, are better as a whole than they are individually. So that was kind of my thought as I was going through this. And so I went ahead and just printed that out, and then I'm going through her collection because I decided I didn't want it all to be just blue and black, and the actual images in my photograph are more orange colored, just because of the welding glass that I was taking the photographs through kind of tinted everything orange. But I decided I wanted to include more colors than just that. So I'm going through the cut apart sheet and just picking out some phrases that I like. And I'm going to use those in conjunction with Saw's products. And as you saw earlier when I was pulling those out, I painted a whole bunch of her products last weekend. I painted some of them gold, and then also black, white, silver, and blue, just the spray paints that I happen to have, and I just laid a whole bunch of them out and spray painted away. It didn't take me very long, and then I just put them into little bins. So I just went through the gold colored ones because I knew there were stars in there, and I'm going to use her solid stars that have like open frames that come with them, and they're a larger size. And then I also have a pack of little tiny stars that I'm going to use, and then some little glasses that she has, and a word sentiment strip. So quite a few of Saw's products are going to be on here, and I'll link them all down below in the description box. And I'll also put my code for you guys. So if you order $30 or more in her shop and use the discount code AngelaFans, you'll get 10% off your order. So I will leave that down below for you guys as well. And so for the layout here, I am just matting my photo, and I'm using that cityscape paper because I probably wouldn't use that anywhere else. And I like the fact that the blue on that's just a tiny bit darker, so it'll give a little contrast against that constellation paper. And then again, like I said, I don't want it to get too blue, so I go ahead and mat it again just on the rest of these cut apart items that I'm not going to use. And that just brings in some little pops of color. You're not going to see much of it, but it is going to bring some color in there. And I'm going to tilt this at an angle, and I'm considering using both glasses, and then I consider making my photograph into like a pocket and tucking the second pair behind the photograph, but it was just a little bit too bulky. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do that in my junk journal, make a little pocket for the glasses to slip into, and so that someone could take them out and actually put them on again in the future. But for this one, I'm just going to adhere the second pair of glasses directly to my layout, just like a border strip. So I'm just laying out my Saw Crafters products, and these are all out of MDF wood that I've spray painted with gold paint. And I'm just doing the positioning on that, and then I will lay down my ephemera pieces and see where I want those as well. And there you can see the little tiny stars come in a pack on their own, and then the medium-sized solid stars and those outline stars, they come in a separate pack. So what I'm going to do is just put my cut apart items all on the right hand side there, and I really liked how that looked. I like that everything's kind of on an angle, kind of like a shooting star or something. And at first I think about putting the gold Saw Crafters sentiment strip that I have there up on top of the photograph, but then I decide I really like it incorporated in with the other cut apart pieces on the right hand side. So that's where that's going to wind up. So I'm liking that. Just deciding which positioning I want. And I'm going to start gluing things down here, and I use a combination of my ATG gun and some Scotch tacky glue to hold everything down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my photograph down first at the angle that I want it to be, and then I'll match everything else up to that angle. So I put that down, and then I go ahead and put the glasses down. And what I do is I just put the ATG on the cardstock portion of the glasses and not on the glass, the plastic in the glass eye portion, because I wasn't sure if it would rip it or not. And then I position it so that wording on the left will be cut off. I'll trim that off so it'll just have it showing once on the right hand side of the glasses. So I'm just trying to get the colors distributed where I want them. Still considering putting that second pair on there, but it just didn't need to be there. So as I line those up, I'll notice here later that I have that one yellow flag that's right below the lunar eclipse piece, and I'll want to put another piece of yellow, and I'll grab that from another collection here in just a little bit. But for now, I'm just going along and using my ATG gun to put these down. And that yellow flag is where my glasses are going to sit. And for the MDF pieces, I am going to use my Scotch tacky glue. On this one, I put just a tiny bit of ATG in the center to hold it while the glue dries. And here's where I think, oh, you know, I really want another little pop of yellow at the top. So I go to this Teresa Collins, I think it's He Said, She Said. It's an older punch apart sheet. And I liked that it had this pinked circle, it has yellow around the outside edge, and it makes it kind of look like a little sunshine. So I thought that kind of fit in well with the whole theme of everything. So now I go ahead and glue this on. I'm really liking that. I put down the you and me. And the MDF sentiment strip says special moment with you. And I like when I spray paint those because you can still read them just fine. Even though you spray paint over the wording, it's still really easy to read. And you'll see that at the end when I show the close-ups. And there I decide to use that larger star because it kind of covers up, there's some extra little unnecessary wording on the right hand side of the glasses there that I'm kind of covering up with that large MDF star. And then I kind of like how that medium-sized star right there, I kind of like it when it covers up the edge of the pink circle and then also touches the photograph because it kind of, you know, brings everything together, links everything. And it kind of moved around and I thought, oh, I should put a little bit of ATG on there just to hold it while that glue dries, but it just wouldn't stick since I had already put the wet glue on there. So I just have wet glue and I'm just going to have to be careful, you know, not to move it around while it dries. So I just go ahead and put these little tiny stars on there. I like the dimension that that adds because otherwise a lot of my other items are paper items and don't have a lot of dimension. And I just put those little glasses onto that yellow flag, so that's really cute. And then I position the rest of my stars. And that is pretty much going to be my full layout. I'm going to add a few sprinkles here of the gold Color Shine by Heidi Swapp. And then I will trim off the edge of those glasses. So yeah, like I said, there's nothing earth-shattering here in the actual design itself, but I do think it's really cool that I was able to save a piece of ephemera. I know that a lot of people must have a pair of those glasses out there. I'm sure they sold hundreds of thousands of them. And you know, it's just neat to include that along with the photographs, and I'm just so glad that I could put so many photographs into one and really tell my story a little better than just showing a picture of the clips or the selfie by themselves. So anyhow, that is my completed layout. Again, I will put links to all the products down below as well as the discount code for you guys. And if you have any questions or anything, you know, just leave me a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer them. I just had a little corner that wasn't stuck down very well, so I just added a little glue on there. And then that is my finished layout. And I forgot to hold the layout up and show close-ups, so I'm going to show a couple still shots here at the end so that you can see everything up close. There you can see the sentiment strip by Saw Crafters and the glasses and the whole layout overall. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you again in the next video. Bye!